So today, let's break down one of the wildest, most unpredictable seasons in recent memory, Liverpool's 2025-26 campaign. This was a season that had, well, everything. Tragedy, massive change, incredible highs, and some absolutely crushing lows. We're going to look at how a year that started in heartbreak became one of the most talked about in modern football.
Right from the get-go, before a single ball was kicked, the season was under this immense shadow. The tragic death of forward Diogo Jota just cast a pall over the entire club. In his memory, they retired the number 20 shirt for good, a really somber start to a year that would be all about change.
And as if that tragedy wasn't enough, it was followed by what you can only call a seismic squad overhaul. The club didn't just lose a beloved player, it felt like an entire era was walking out the door, which forced a massive and very expensive rebuild.
I mean, the sense of loss was just huge. Beyond the irreplaceable Diogo Jota, you had club icons like Trent Alexander-Arnold heading to Real Madrid, and key attackers Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez leaving too. You're not just losing names on a team sheet, you're losing the core of your team, its leadership, its attacking spark. It forced a total reconstruction, right from the ground up. So how do you even begin to respond to that? Well, with money. A lot of money. A staggering £417 million were spent in the transfer market. This wasn't just patching up a few holes, this was an all-in gamble to create a brand new identity for the team. And fast. And here's where it gets really interesting. Look where the biggest chunk of that cash went. A massive £125 million for one player. They broke the British transfer record to bring in striker Alexander Isak from Newcastle. I mean, the pressure on that guy to deliver from day one was just immense. Isak was the headliner, for sure, but he wasn't alone. He was joined by a ton of other talent brought in to make the team faster and more direct. You had Florian Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong coming in from a title-winning Bayer Leverkusen side, bringing creativity and just blistering pace. Then you add forward Hugo Ekitike and attacking fullback Milos Perez. This was the new-look Liverpool. So after all that turmoil and all that change, the question was pretty simple. Was this expensive new team, built for a whole new system, actually going to work? Well, the initial answer was a huge, emphatic yes. And this just shows you how well it worked. 5 games, 5 wins. By week 3, Liverpool were top of the Premier League table, and they stayed there. All the new signings just clicked instantly. It honestly seems like the massive gamble had paid off in a spectacular way. And if you needed one single moment to capture all that early optimism, this was it. In just the second game of the season, a 16-year-old kid from the academy, Rio Ngumoha, comes off the bench to score a winner in the 100th minute. He becomes the club's youngest ever goal scorer. I mean, it's a fairy tale story, the kind of thing that makes you believe something really special is happening. But you know how it is in football. That fairy tale beginning took a sudden, dramatic, and pretty brutal turn. That blazing start was followed by a collapse that was, well, almost impossible to explain. The fall was just as quick as the rise. Just look at this table. After sitting pretty in first place, Liverpool went on this shocking run, losing 6 of their next 7 league games. They just plummeted. From the top of the table all the way down to 12th. The dream start had officially become a nightmare. And this wasn't just a run of bad luck or close losses. It got ugly. The team suffered some really humiliating defeats, like getting thrashed 3-0 at home to Nottingham Forest. Anfield, which is supposed to be a fortress, was just getting breached way too easily. So with their Premier League hopes very much in tatters, attention turned to the domestic cups. Could they offer some kind of path to redemption? Could these salvage anything from this season? Well, in the EFL Cup, the answer was a swift no. The bad form just kept on going. Another crushing 3-0 loss at Anfield, this time to Crystal Palace. And just like that, they were dumped out of the competition. The FA Cup, though, that offered a little more promise. Liverpool actually put a decent run together, you know? They beat Barnsley, Brighton, and Wolves to make it to the quarterfinals. But that's where the dream died. They ran into Manchester City and got absolutely hammered 4-0. Another door to a trophy slammed shut. So, with all the domestic hopes pretty much gone, there was only one prize left, but it was the biggest of them all, the UEFA Champions League. Europe became the last chance to save this season. You know, the team had actually done pretty well in the Champions League's new league format, finishing 3rd overall to get a spot in the knockout rounds. And their opponent in the round of 16 was a tough one, the Turkish champions Galatasaray.
And this tie just perfectly illustrates the kind of drama this team was capable of. They lose the first leg 1-0 in Istanbul, and it looks like their European journey is about to end. But back at Anfield, they produce this absolutely stunning performance, winning 4-0 on the night to storm into the quarterfinals with a 4-1 win on aggregate. Hope was alive again.
So, after all of that, the ups, the downs, the tragedy, the turmoil, all the wins and the losses, what's the final verdict on this completely unforgettable season? Let's take a look at the numbers. Now, what's really interesting here is who stepped up. It was another one of the new signings, Hugo Ekitike, who finished as the club's surprise top scorer with 17 goals, outscoring a club legend like Mohamed Salah. That right there is a clear sign that the guard was changing. So here's the final breakdown. A fifth-place finish in the league, quarterfinal exits in both the FA Cup and the Champions League, and an early exit from the EFL Cup. At the end of the day, it was a season without any domestic silverware, but one where this new team showed these frustrating, brilliant flashes of what they could be.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? When you think about the tragic way this season began and the massive overhaul the squad went through, was finishing fifth and having a decent run in Europe actually a sign of progress for this new team? Or, after spending over £400 million, was it all just a costly missed opportunity? That's the debate that will define Liverpool's season on the brink.